A year ago when the Nintendo Switch 2 was first announced, I made a video about how I wasn't interested in getting one. Now here we are a year later, and it is the console I play the most, and I'm so glad that I got one. Let's talk about why. Another decision you won't regret, liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I think the biggest thing that changed my view on the Nintendo Switch was what I wanted the console to be. I think I still had it in my head that new consoles somehow meant some new major leap in technology and capabilities, features, but realistically, I don't think we have had that since the Xbox 360 to PS4 jump. Consoles now are essentially computers, and new consoles are just more powerful computers. The Super Nintendo to the N64 or the PS1 to the PS2, those were huge leaps, and nowadays you're just not gonna get that. Now it's something crazy that you don't even notice, like less jagged shadows or realistic facial hair growth on a character. Nothing you actually notice while playing the game. So when you reframe that way from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2, and really see the Switch 2 as just a better Switch, it actually nails it. The Switch 2 is the Switch 1 again, but everything is better. It's got stronger hardware and can actually run games that the Switch 1 struggled to run. Bigger screen, and even though it's not an OLED, it is nice and big. It has some cool features too, like the mouse mode with the Joy-Cons, but I am not one to really utilize it. I don't have my Switch set up on a desk to play games with my mouse, but I have seen people enjoying it for games like Pocopia or Metroid Prime 4. By having this mindset when you approach the console, it also means the console itself comes with an entire library already. There are so many games I had on my Switch that I had never finished, some of them specifically because of performance issues, and in many cases, the Switch 2 fixes that with no necessary updates. Games that stuck out for me, especially in that transitionary period, were the League of Legends Ruined King game, as well as Monster Hunter Stories 2. Playing them on Switch 2 felt like I was playing entirely different games. They ran much smoother, cleaner, and had better visuals in handheld mode. And after going through that, it made me want to revisit many games. And revisiting games is not really something I do too often. There is a very small handful of games that I have actually played more than once. I am usually one and done when it comes to games, but the Switch 2 has made me replay the Mario Galaxy games thanks to that re-release. I've replayed Super Mario Odyssey. I went back and played some Pokemon Scarlet because that game runs at 60 FPS now. Both of the Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, because now you start talking about the actual Switch 2 editions that they've made. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, not just having the expansion, but playing that game in 60 frames per second is game-changing. So even if no new games came out for the console, because that was one of my biggest complaints a year ago, there was really no first-party announced exclusive games that got me excited in the same way that the Switch 1 had. I remember that first E3 for the Switch 1, we already had Breath of the Wild, and then Nintendo came out and essentially had a high-profile first-party game every month, including Super Mario Odyssey, including Mario plus Rabbids, which I loved. There were so many games that I was so excited to play that it made me buy the Switch 1. The Switch 2 didn't really have that, but even still, it's actually built up quite an impressive little library. Mario Kart World just wasn't it for me. I think a lot of people, they really botched the open world aspect to it, and I still don't understand why they have not put in normal 3-lap Grand Prix. Donkey Kong Bonanza was kind of the big first-party game, and that was fun, but kind of mindless, I thought. The rest of the games are not maybe system sellers, but they are games that you love having to round out your console library, and they're all very solid. I loved Pokemon Legends ZA, I think a lot more than most other people. It's one of my favorite Pokemon games. Really enjoyed how they upgraded the combat. The Hyrule Warriors game I've been finding extremely engaging, considering it's mostly just a mindless button masher. It is a lot of fun. All the different characters play so uniquely. It just makes you want to keep playing it. Kirby Air Riders, again, a racing game, not really something that I personally can spend a lot of time with, but the fast pace, the visuals is fun when you play it and makes a good party game. I personally haven't played Metroid Prime 4, but again, it's a Metroid Prime game. I know it's been a little contentious for some, but it's still a first-person shooter, a totally different genre. Hades 2, I know, is not a first-party exclusive game, but the physical edition of it is, and so that's why I'm listing it here. And that game is awesome. It was number 2 on my Game of the Year list. And recently we've had Pokopia, which, again, is Pokemon Animal Crossing. I loved that game. I think a lot of people are really enjoying it. So again, while there's not necessarily like a Breath of the Wild type game, a genre-defining, console-defining game, the library itself over the last year has really filled out. And then if you take into account all of the different third-party games that now have Switch 2 editions like Cyberpunk, again Hades 2, the Yakuza games, there's actually a huge library here that you can enjoy, and the fact that you can play all those games on the go really adds to the system. I think the most surprising thing to me, though, has been the GameCube library on the Switch. This was something that when they announced it, I thought was cool, but I really haven't made use of the classics collections on the console so far. I've maybe played an N64 game or a Super Nintendo game for like 10 minutes and that's it. But I have played all of the GameCube games, and most of them I've played a lot. Being able to play Chibi Robo when it was a game I had never played as a kid, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and the Fire Emblem game. They've just been awesome additions to the console that really, again, makes it feel like it has a lot more to offer than the Switch 1 did. Ultimately, the Switch 2 is a hardware upgrade to an already fantastic console. Sure, it's not groundbreaking compared to the first, but it does everything the first one did better. And while many may say that that makes it not worth the price tag, for me personally, I am so happy with my purchase. It has become the console I play the most. It's dethroned my Steam Deck, it's dethroned my desktop, it's dethroned my PS5, and is really the console that I go to play games these days. It really is the embodiment of that. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Just make it a little better. And while I was maybe a little harsh on it at first, because it wasn't what I was hoping it would be, I am able to accept it for what it is, and really love it. What do you think? Is the Switch 2 a complete waste of money? Am I a fool? Let me know in the comments down below. What's your favorite Switch 2 game? If you liked the video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps a lot, and I will see you all with the next video.